Well, hello there, my friends. Your boy, Garrett J. White, the founder, Wake Up Warrior, and your co-host here in the Date Your Wife podcast. My wife finally got her headphones on in time, ready to do this show.
I was sweating. It was like the camera was on. I was like,
it was rolling.
I can't
it was
these.
rolling.
You know?
And this is, you are the founder of DKW Styling and the creator of Natural
It's
Beaded
your boy,
Rose.
Garrett J. White.
It's your boy, Garrett J. White.
It's so gangster of you.
No, I don't know if gangster is
It reminds me of like
the
college.
Hey, what's up? This is your boy, Garrett J. White.
Boy.
This is DJ style.
Yeah, I don't know.
DJ style. I'm running DJ 3 in the morning. This DJ said DJ Garrett J. White.
I think you have this inner.
I do have an inner
have
DJ in me.
No, you don't have an inner DJ. You have an inner person who wants to be a DJ.
No, I am a DJ.
Really?
Are you kidding me? Do you not see me? I have an event in 2 weeks with 1,200 men. And I'll have a microphone in my hand, and I will be DJ. Because I'm in front of 1,200 people.
Tables.
No, DJ is a mic, and also
that's
the
like
tables.
The MC.
No, all right, I'm MC
You're
style.
the MC.
Okay, true, MC style. MC, not DJ.
We know you're the MC.
The MC.
You're the MC of Warrior.
Master.
Let's bring him in. Welcome to the Date Your Wife podcast.
Welcome to Date Your Wife podcast. I don't even know what our topic's supposed to be, meaning what focus is supposed to be.
The focus last week, I think, was sex. Why? I swear the last, 3 weeks have been sex.
I keep slipping one past the goalie.
I'm like, what?
Keep slipping one past the goalie, and we keep getting to talk about sex.
I mean...
So we're going to talk about something different right now. We're going to talk about our daughter. We're going to talk about parenting.
Oh, we haven't talked about parenting in a bit.
We're going to talk about parenting. We're going to talk about some problems in the parenting quadrant you and I have been facing recently.
I feel like, you know what's so funny? My daughter's in junior high, and I remember last year, she would still snuggle and, kiss me and say goodbye, and I remember, thinking, soak it in, Danielle, soak it in. And
people would tell us this, too.
No, nobody told me this.
Why have people tell me this?
Well, I didn't think, because I was, junior high here, I was no, she's still young, but, literally, over the summer, I was who is this monster?
She went from little girl to junior high girl.
Well, no, she doesn't she used to she was always my cuddly one, and I'd go to leave and she'd be like, Mom, one more hug. And now I'm like Bailey, and her head is in her phone. She's like, what? Every time I say Bailey, and I say it just like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, Bailey, what?
Yes.
I'm like, I'm sorry.
There's a bit of aggression there.
Yeah, there's
a little bit
so
of
much aggression. I'm I don't even know what's going on, and I just think the cell phone needs to be limited, but then she's always pulling out I got homework and I got this, and I'm like, well, show me. And then she'll really be doing homework, but I'm like, whatever, you heard me coming, you got your homework up, and then you went right back on FaceTime with your friend or whatever. I don't know.
But she doesn't listen.
And you know what else is sad about this year is she's old enough where if she doesn't want to go with me to run errands,
she doesn't have to go.
If she doesn't want to go, I booked a family movie and she's like, I don't want to go. And I was like, I booked a family movie. You'll like it. She's like, I don't want to go. And or I'll be like, Bailey, I'll give her warnings. I'm like, okay, you have 10 minutes to get ready. Okay, you have 5 minutes to get ready. Okay, we're leaving in 2 minutes. And then I go in, I'm like, you've done nothing in the last 10 minutes.
It's because she didn't care.
I don't know what happens to the preteens. They lose all consciousness of time.
I think it's different though too because they got cell phones.
And
I think it was already a thing, but now cell phones make it worse.
I'll go in the bathroom and she still has a towel on her head and she's on her phone. I'm like, I told you 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, it's a phone thing.
And then I'll be like, take away, and then I'll be like, but give me your phone. She'll be like, you don't trust me? And I'm like, you say that every time, but you've proven that I cannot trust you.
Well, that's why she's asking.
I'm at a loss this year.
We have no answers for you on this show. Today we have zero answers.
No, I just wanted everyone to
We have zero answers. We just want you to know that we understand.
I want all the moms out there to laugh because they have
understand.
kids that are going through this and they're like, ha, 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 don't worry. They're either going to say it gets worse or it gets better. I don't know. Don't tell me. I'll figure it out.
Well, listen, we have a daughter who is, cell phones have changed the game for kids. They have forced our children to grow up much quicker, yet at the same time, it's like they're not growing up. It's like they're growing up, but they're not growing up at the same time. They're growing up intellectually very quickly, and articulation and communication, meaning they have so much data in their brains, and their brains think so quickly, but emotionally, I swear they're going backwards.
Same.
No, I think they're going backwards.
Really?
I don't think the emotional fortitude of children is even what it used to be.
They text so much, you don't actually have to have that conversation. I was just thinking, when I was in junior high and the first time a boy called me or whatever, it's you were sweating bullets. You were I have to
get on the phone and talk.
And not sound like a dork and not stutter and
Mhm.
like not pause. And
Mhm.
now you can literally like edit, erase, text, like, and so you don't actually learn how to communicate in a
No.
way.
Well, it's not that you don't know how to communicate. I think they've gotten
Well,
very good at being able
verbally,
to communicate
maybe-
through text,
Yeah, that's true.
but they haven't learned how to communicate face to face.
Right.
Like we were sitting in and okay, there was a little boy that my daughter liked, and this little boy liked my daughter. He was in the 7th grade, she in 6th grade. We were friends with her parents, his parents. So we ended up like spending some time together with the families, etc. And we were going to his house to pick him up to come to dinner. He was coming with us.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
And my daughter, like the address we had was like a little confusing, so we couldn't find his house. So we're about to go to the house, and we can't find the address. And I'm talking to my daughter in the backseat, and I said, "Just call him." And she is freaking out, and she's like, "Oh my God, Jesus Christ,
She
Dad!"
would not call him.
Freaking out about the
We're
idea
like,
of calling
we're
him.
like, we can't find his house.
Call him. No, I'm texting him right now. Call
She goes,
him.
People don't do that.
Call him.
People
Dad,
don't
you
do
don't even
that.
understand. Call him. So there's an inability to communicate with each other. I mean,
But I'm struggling as a parent to even like know how to communicate.
with our kids.
Yeah, like
You
well,
send them
no,
texts?
just no, I do.
Well, you mean communicate with people?
No, I don't know how to like my new
You're sitting here on a
my
microphone
new-
talking.
my new human being, my new daughter,
Oh, your new human being.
my new human being. I'm like, I don't know how to communicate because literally I'll be like, Bailey, and she'll be like, what? I'm like, I just said your name. You're not in trouble. She's like, well, whatever, biatch. I'm like, don't say that. That's super rude and disrespectful. I was just kidding, Mom. Like, that's her little attitude. And I'm like,
do you think your mom would have tolerated that, or you think your mom would have beat you?
you know what? I remember.
Did your mom beat you? Like, would she
No.
smack you in the face?
I got backhanded one time, and my nose was bleeding, and then my mom felt really bad because I think she felt like an abusive mom. But like, I remember my mom backhanded me one time, like when I was in probably like 7th grade, because
You probably deserved it.
I probably
You
did.
probably said biatch.
I don't remember. I was yelling at her. We were in the car, and the next thing I know, her hand flung across, and my face went into the windshield, and literally my nose like started bleeding all over.
That's
and
awesome.
then I went upstairs, and she came up later, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "No, my nose is broken," and it wasn't. And she was like, "Well, I'm sorry."
My mom threw my shoes out of a car in a new city we had just moved to. We'd moved to Yakima, Washington. I was in the 8th grade. And my mom, I was fighting in the backseat with my siblings. I wouldn't stop. She stops in an intersection. She throws my shoes out the sunroof in
Says,
this
"Get out."
Ford Festiva. Says, "Get out of the car," and drives away. I've never been to the city. It's the first day we're in the city. We just moved there. My mom leaves me in a place I don't know where I'm at.
How
and
old
for
are
some
you?
reason, the thought goes to, I hope I get kidnapped. That'll show my mom. That was exactly what Bailey was actually telling me this when I took her cell phone away here like 2 weeks ago. And I said, "You lose your phone." And she's yelling at me the whole way to school. And she's telling me that she's going to get kidnapped. She's like, "I hope you're happy that I get kidnapped because I don't have my cell phone." I was like, "So help me understand how having your cell phone helps you not get kidnapped." She's like, well, I could call someone. I'm like, unless you're learning how to use a cell phone as a weapon, I don't see how that like actually supports
So you
a
didn't
lot.
finish the story. Your mom threw your
So
shoes
my mom
out?
threw my shoes out and left me.
Like for reals?
Yeah,
left you?
like 4 hours. I went into a Montgomery Wards. It was a store. But have you ever heard of a Montgomery Wards?
That's funny. I know.
My mom couldn't
but
find me.
My parents would do the whole get out of the car thing too, but they would always just drive to where we could barely see them. And then they would stop the van, and it was one of those big old sliding door vans.
Dramatic.
And you'd see the van door slide open, and we'd be like, "Ah!" And we'd run, and we'd like get in the car. And
No, I got
and then
left.
we'd just shut up.
I got left for 4 hours.
Wow, your mom
And
really didn't
I
want
moved
you.
my way. Well, she had 4 other kids. My dad was out of town. It wasn't even one. I was the oldest, and I was a pain in the ass. I was picking out all my sisters and brothers. I wouldn't stop. So my mom did exactly what she should have done. She threw my fucking shoes out the door, and then she said, "Get the fuck out of the car." So I end up in a Montgomery Wards trying on clothes. I have no wallet. I have no cell phone. There's no way to communicate.
How
Can
did
you imagine?
she find you?
Can you imagine being a parent and you dropped your kid off?
Man, things would have had to be really
Things were way
bad.
different back then.
You just figured
Like you
they'd
didn't know
show
where your
up.
kids were all the time. I mean, back in
Yeah.
the day, your parents had no
They'd
idea
say,
where
"Come
you
home,
were.
Come home at dusk, and you're,
You're
like,
like,
yeah.
Where are you going? You're like, "I'm going with Johnny." Was
Yeah, no,
Johnny's
you
mom home?
never-
You're like, "Yes."
I never even had to tell my parents where I was going. They literally back then they were like, get out of the house, go ride your bike around, get out of the house. You know what I mean? Like, go
For
do
sure.
something.
Our parents sent us out of the house all the time.
All the time. They're like, go ride your bike. And so always, like, me and my girlfriends, we'd jump on our bikes and ride to the mall or ride to the gas station. We were like in 5th or 6th grade.
Dude, I remember riding my bike from our house like 3 or 4 miles down a busy road on the side, going to the Smith's grocery store and stealing candy. I would go to a 7-Eleven and I would steal candy.
Your mom found you in the Montgomerys trying on
My mom ends
shoes?
up finding me in the Montgomery Ward's like department store, and I'm trying on
like,
clothes,
these Nikes.
and I see her, and she sees me, and I'm trying to be strong, but then I cry, break down, I run to her.
Aww.
And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry.
You don't know how old you were?
I was like 8th grade. Let's see, wait, 7th grade. I was 7th grade because I was going to, 7th grade, we had just moved there, 7th grade.
But that's scary, though, because you didn't know where you were.
No, I was in a brand new city. I had no idea where,
How
I
would
couldn't
she
have gotten
know?
to my
How
house.
would she have known you would have gone
I
in
couldn't
there?
have gotten to anything.
I bet she was a little scared and got
She was
panicky.
terrified.
Yeah,
She told me later, she was like, oh my God, what have I done? My son has gotten kidnapped in a white van and he's gone forever.
Oh.
And I was like sitting there thinking, oh, I hope I get kidnapped. That would show her. So kids do weird shit. I did weird shit as a kid. But
so
the difference.
What do you do? Do you just try to like steer kids where they don't totally like?
I've started having conversations with her and it's been going good
Yeah,
for the last
what I
week.
realize with her is like when she starts opening up and she'll be like, Mom, and she'll start telling me about her and her friends. I'm like, okay, this is your in. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Oh, how did that go? Oh, what did they say? It's like you have to operate like when
you
they're
have to
little.
be present to what their issues are.
Well, no, when they're little, you can be like, hey, we're going to go to the store. And you're just like, oh, hey, we're going to go to a movie. And they operate on your agenda. And as they turn into teenagers, you operate on their agenda. And that's your window in. And so like, I'm like, it's like you lose a little bit of that control. But in order to gain that connection, I'm just constantly looking for my windows. I'm like, ooh, okay. Let's hear. And like literally she can just be like, da, 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 and I'm like, I have to really focus because like she's so excited about like the funniest little things that I'm like, oh, this is so silly, you know? But she's just.
But this, I think the principle that we're getting at is we actually do know what we're doing.
Yeah, no. I mean,
because
that's
we've
what
started
I
it. We have some traction in her world.
You know what we both suck at though is follow through.
Well, let me tell you what happens. I take her cell phone away. I store it away.
Yeah.
And then do you know what happens?
Her little sister.
Ruby hunts it down, finds the phone in one of my hiding locations, and then gives it back to Bailey.
Okay, when you were like yelling at Bailey and you're like, give me your phone. Ruby goes, oh, I hate this part. And she puts a pillow over her head.
No,
and I was like,
really?
Yeah, and she goes, I hate this part. And I was like, oh, that's the saddest. And so I jumped in bed with Ruby and I was like, it's okay.
That really was happening in the other room?
Yeah, she literally goes, I hate this part. Like it was like a horror flick that she was listening to on the other side. And I was like, oh.
Do you know why? Oh, so let's paint this out.
So that's why she.
So you're in one room with Bailey or with Ruby, who's our 7-year-old.
Right.
You're laying in bed getting ready for bedtime. I tell Bailey to give me your phone. It's time for bed. She refuses. She
goes
fights.
into psycho
she
mode.
goes into
She's
crazy
literally
mode.
Like, no,
I start reaching for the phone. She hides it down her pants. She then takes it out of her pants and she throws it, and it almost hits me in the face and hits the wall. Then I spank her butt. And I give her 2 spanks hard on the butt. She starts acting like I just beat her with a baseball bat.
She does the funniest thing though when I'm like, give me your phone. She's like, no, and she engulfs it and lays on it. I'm like, and now she's
That's
like,
what little kids do with like
I
toys.
know, but she's my size. She's
11.
taller than me, and so
She's like 5'4".
Yeah, literally, like she's taller than me now, and I'm like I can't manhandle her. I'm like literally like she does this like sumo squat on it and like lays on it, and I'm like I physically can't even move you anymore, and I'm like
that's why Ruby goes and gets the phone
so
because Ruby's feeling all kinds of like sadness for her sister.
Well, and then it's hard too because she does the weird like I'm gonna tuck it and she's strong and she grabs it and I'm like I'm not gonna fight you. So then I have to like take it when she's not looking and then she'll be like,
don't wait. I just go for it and take it anyway.
But then I get in trouble because she's like, you don't trust me. You took it without asking. I'm like, because I had to take it when you're sleeping because otherwise you're going to like.
I just go right after when she's in the judo move.
Well, you're twice her size and you can get it from her.
But that's when Ruby went crazy.
So Ruby felt bad.
And I didn't know she was saying that.
Yeah, she's like, I hate this part.
And she puts a pillow over her ears?
Yeah, and I was like, oh, because she could hear you yelling. And then
I hide the cell phone and Ruby goes and hunts it down.
You know what? You shouldn't hide it in the same place.
I don't. I hide it in one of 3 places, and Ruby knows where all 3 are. Because every time I come back, you know what's funny? I went to go take Bailey to school, and like she had lost her cell phone. Like I took it away, and then I came back from
I saw,
but she was so calm, and I was like,
Yeah, you knew.
What's going on
She
with
thought
her?
she.
And
Yeah.
I was like, you're
I'm
being
like, Bailey,
way
do you
too
have your
sweet.
phone? She's like, no. Mm-mm.
She's like, and then she plays this card like, what did you do to my phone, Dad? Did you lose my phone?
Yeah,
and I'm
and then
sitting
she
there
tries
looking
to
at her,
make you
I'm like,
feel guilty. You know how I knew she had
you
it?
hid you got your phone
So
back.
then
Then
I
I look at
called-
Ruby and I'm like, you took the phone back.
No, then I called her bluff and I was like, well, Bailey, if you lost it, I don't want to pay the bill, so I'm just going to call AT&T real quick and just let them know to go ahead and shut the phone off. And she's like, why would you do that? And I was like, well, I mean, I don't want to pay the bill. That's silly. So just it'll take 5 minutes. Mom, don't call him. Why do you care? We'll get you a new phone and don't stress about it. Mom, don't do that. I'm like, you're lying. You have your phone. And she's like,
Did you do this?
Yeah. And she was like,
I'm
no,
not
I
as-
don't. And I go, give it to me right now. And she's like, no. And
I'm
like,
obviously
what
not
do I
that
do?
smart.
What do I do? I'm like, you're grounded. She's like, fine. I like being in my room. I'm like,
I
I
didn't
got
even know
nothing.
this.
Yes,
I didn't even know
literally
this.
was like, that's
Oh.
fine. So then the next day, I'm full of like threats and very little follow through. So then the next day, I'm like, fine. I know you have your phone, and I'm still gonna shut it off. Have fun with that. And she's like, okay. And then I didn't shut it off. And damn it, like,
Oh,
because then
babe.
I'm like, can you shut it off? And
Listen,
then do you have
there-
to pay like a reinactivation
Why do you think
fee?
it is? Why do you think it is that you don't follow?
I
through?
get so fired up that I just am full of empty threats, and then I realize sometimes in my threats I'm like punishing myself because then I'm like, now I gotta pay $350 to reactivate the phone because I couldn't take it away from her, or I like send her to school and I'm like, you can't have your phone, and then the whole day I'm nervous. I'm like, is she okay? Maybe something did happen, and then it's like torture for me, and every mom out there is laughing because you know it's true. So you're like, man, is there a punishment where it doesn't feel like you're punishing the parent as well?
I
don't know if it is.
Listen,
I
here's-
feel like our parenting shows, it's always like, please help us.
I feel like we're actually sending out a helpline, like sending out a smoke signal for please help us with our parenting. You know what though? Here's the deal. At
Maybe
the
it
end of
makes
the
us
day,
more relatable.
let's move to some victories though.
Okay.
Some victories are my 19-year-old.
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
Parker and I are on a complete. Parker and I got a tattoo together. If you're on the video stream, you can see this. It's a
got
on
the
the
same
inside of
one.
my right arm. It's not a small tattoo. It's the entire forearm from like the crux of my elbow to clear down to my wrist. And
It's a lion.
it's a huge lion.
I got the same
It's
one.
like a
but I
Transformers
I put it
lion.
on my chest as a chest plate.
Oh, it's so gorgeous right
just
between your
kidding.
nipples.
I know.
All right. So not really.
Got real weird.
But this tattoo, which you can see on the video, me and my son got together. And it was funny because I was not going to tattoo my right arm at all. Now it's inevitable it'll be sleeved also. But I was not going to tattoo my right arm.
Would you ever do color?
No, I don't like color.
Well, I think that'd be weird. Like if you're gonna do color, you go all
No,
color. If you're
I
gonna
know,
do black
I don't
and
like.
white.
I do color actually. There's white on this one.
Yeah,
but it's
see,
black
you
and
got
white.
Color.
It's color. It's white and black. That's all I'll do, and I'll have Jason.
I don't think
finish
I
this
would
whole
do
sleeve.
color. That would clash.
No, I don't like color. I like how it looks on my body. I mean, I've never had it on my body, but I don't like color. So, anyways, Parker and I decided to get a tattoo, and Parker and I over the last year, he was sitting there for Thanksgiving yesterday, and we were having a talk about just where he was a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a couple of years ago, my son wouldn't even talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my son. If you're not familiar with the show, like I have a 19-year-old son. His name's Parker James White. He and his mother, Christy, and I used to be married. Christy and I used to be married. Christy Lindholm, she remarried 14 years. A man, she with Larry, and great woman. And we're in a good relationship right now. But Parker and I came back full circle.
But I just wanted to say this really, really quick because I think that like there's such a difference from 18 to 19 and 19 to 20 because
Big time.
because like at 18 you're still in the at home and high school game, and the minute you're like 19 and on your own, like it just changes. And you even if you when you're 19 you start to put on. I remember being 19 and I got engaged at 19, so I mean all of a sudden you're like you become an adult, you know. And I think that he's really like transitioned to becoming an adult and being accountable for his actions. And I think what happens is when you're 17 and 18 and you're feeling confined and you're trying to figure yourself out, and so you probably do stupid shit, and all of a sudden when you're 19 you're like, okay, I gotta like act like a man, or I gotta grow up a little bit. And I think that those 2 years, I think people really kind of like reel it in a little bit. I don't know, maybe at least that's how I experienced life. I remember I felt like I went from like I just changed a lot from 18 to 20.
So I actually talked to Christy today for about 40 minutes. We were discussing the moment on stage with Parker and you and I at the Warrior Week for Women event that we ran this year with like 300 women. And there was like basically an intervention with me and Christy, my ex-wife, and my son, which completely altered, I feel like, a big difference inside my relationship with Parker. I feel a difference in relationship with you. I was talking to Christy today. She feels a difference in relationship with her husband, Larry. They've been together 14 years. Danielle and I have been together, married for 15 years. But we actually talked about taking that video, that
Mhm.
2-hour documentary video from stage, and we're
Mhm.
going to go public with it.
Really?
Yeah, and Christy's okay with it. Parker's okay with it. And we're going to really give a
Mm,
message
What are
to
you gonna? Where
divorced
are you gonna put
couples.
it?
We're going to put it online, and we're going to run ads to it. We're going to share with the public about just this, like what's possible for families, because there's so many families that are divorced now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've never been divorced.
Yeah.
But you're impacted by divorce big time. And
Yeah.
you have a sister that's divorced. You had a brother that almost got divorced. You have another brother probably should get divorced. And then we have like a whole bunch of like in
You
my
have a s-
side, I have
yeah.
a sister that's divorced.
Yeah.
I have a brother that's divorced. I
Yeah.
have a sister that probably should have got divorced. And I have a sister that's contemplating divorce. Like there's like all like I'm not saying she's actually contemplating, but I'm just saying they're like in a rough patch. So like there's a lot of divorce around us, and divorce has become the game. It's over 50% in the United States right now.
Yeah.
So we're your experience throughout that was like part of your voice is going to be important inside of this message when we're sharing, because there's a lot of women who are getting married, or get married to a man who has
I
child
think-
from another relationship.
I think that everybody, what happens and what happened even in Warrior Women is like there was no hiding and there was no stories. Like it's like everybody creates stories based on who the other person was and this and that, and it bleeds into the children. And the children are like, I don't know, I want to be like connected with this person, but based on how my mom's operating, even though she's not saying anything, I'm feeling like there's some weirdness against, you know what I mean, against you or whatever the family or the situation is. And so having that on stage, and we were like literally like you just kind of exposed yourself in front of 300 women, and it was like interesting to see both sides of the story. And I kind of always like throughout Parker being little and stuff, like I never was like super involved. I'd kind of just be like, Garrett, like
You were
try
actually the one that was encouraging
Well,
me, and I was
I just-
not
I don't
doing
know.
much about it.
I just felt like as a woman and as a mom, I'm like, don't let that go. There's no reason to let that go. You know, like you have a son, you want to at least put forth the effort, like, hey, I'm here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I never saw her perspective until we were on stage, and I just was like, oh my God, like she just felt so like abandoned by you, and went
Right.
into like protective mama mode, and like I literally felt like I was having like an outer body experience, and neither person was right, and it just what was. And I just was like, even I went to dinner with her the next night, and she's like, I can't tell you how grateful I am for you. And I'm like, for why? And she's like, just for standing in your place and like not really judging me. And I'm like, I didn't really have anything to judge you off of. I didn't have the son. I didn't have the son that like had the husband that left me. I didn't have any of that. There was no reason for me to think anything of you or judge you. I didn't know you. And so it was just and now I feel like we're in a really cool space. And I told Garrett, I'm like, this is the next chapter. And I kind of always felt like this was how was going to be.
Did
like,
you really?
well, I'm like
I mean,
super.
I didn't. I was like, oh my God, this is
I
never
don't
gonna
know
work
if I
out.
like. I'm super visual, and I'll like see things, and I'm like, wow, that feels really real. And I remember like seeing Parker get married, and I remember like we were all there, and like Christy was there, and you were there, and everybody was there, and I remember feeling like, wow, I remember feeling really connected to Parker. And I'm like, wow, we must have had more time with him or something. Like I just got that feeling in my heart like we were all connected. So I didn't know how. I didn't know he was going to move to California. I just like knew that we were going to be a part of his world, and that we were all going to be connected. It was like in dreams I have like feelings that feel so real to me. And so that was one of them. And I was like, I think we're going to be good. And so then just kind of see how everything's played out. I'm like, oh, cool. This is the next chapter.
I mean, it's been incredible. Like getting the tattoo with Parker was his idea, and he wanted to move here. He dropped out of college, came to work here for Wake Up Warrior, and has done an amazing job. He's been here less than 12 months. Radical alteration. Youngest kid to graduate from Warrior Week. Youngest man to graduate from Kingdom Challenge. Currently in our certified trainer program. In 2019, launching our millennial program for young teens. And here we are. We're about to launch this documentary. We're going to share a clip from a 2-hour documentary with interviews with Danielle and Christy, my ex-wife, my son Parker, myself, the kids involved, Christy's husband Larry, and we're going to share this with the marketplace because we just feel like there are so many couples who are impacted by divorce, and the part that nobody's considering is the impact on their relationships, for the unhealthy reality of their past marriages.
Yeah.
And I
how
feel like
it trickles down. Like
Yeah.
you never like realize, like I never really thought about that, but like, yeah, you move on, But then even talking to our friends Katie and Jesse yesterday, and he has a son and this, like you never know where that's going to trickle down. Now, like his son who never got to connect with him, maybe he looks at like his relationship's different and something that can be like stopped in its tracks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's behaviors that we don't realize can affect so many generations based on two people just getting rid of their stories and letting go and like coming to a peaceful term and building a new relationship and getting rid of all those past stories. And so I think that that is true, is that people think small and they don't think of the generations that they could actually be impacting.
I mean, it's a life. I mean, I sat on the phone today. I told you I was on the phone today with Christy for 40 minutes talking about this and rolling this out to the public. And that's probably more in one 40-minute call. That's probably more than I talked to her between then we got divorced when Parker was 9 months
What did
old
she say?
until he was 17 or 18. That's more than we talked in like 16 years. We talked more than that today in one phone call. What'd you say?
What did she say? Was she like, okay?
Oh, yeah, she's all about it. Yeah, she thinks it's great. She has she's like, listen, I feel like in my heart, like family matters, and family is redefined nowadays, but family's being destroyed.
In an attempt to keep Parker, she was losing him because she wasn't, you guys weren't allowing us to have a relationship as a whole together.
Yeah.
So people, I think, go into that like, oh, I'm protecting my kid, but you're like, because you are so mad or so bitter and not dealing with your own shit and your own stories, it ultimately is actually holding you back. And I think that a lot of like divorcees, like they don't want to like talk bad about the other person in front of the kids. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then, but the kids know. And I'm sure there are certain situations. Like I look at my sister and her ex, and he seems a bit loony.
He's fucking crazy.
So then I'm like, that may not be something that can be might
it's
not
not even
ever.
that he's fucking crazy. He's just like lazy as shit, and
No,
he's out of his mind.
No, literally, he's like down. He's gone too deep, and I'm like a situation like that. I'm like, yeah, you probably can't ever like, you can't be together as a whole family. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's.
And you know what though? Even in those situations, I swear that it is possible.
Do you think?
Yes,
but
because
both people have to want
it.
it.
Two people have to become radically responsible.
Yeah.
And that's what happened on stage with Christy and I. We became radically responsible. I wasn't even planning on it. It was just part of one of our events that we were running, and I was a lead trainer, and I threw myself under the bus, and you were willing to be part of that. My mom was there. Christy, Parker, myself, and then my trainers that I had trained that worked for Wake Up Warrior ended up processing me, Coach Kevin and Coach Sam. And next thing you know, this thing turned into, I mean, it was one of the most amazing things I've ever had happen to me. One of the most painful things I've ever emotionally gone through in my life. So, although we may not be figuring out the 11-year-old thing, and we're sort of figuring out the 7-year-old thing. We're starting to figure out the 19-year-old thing from a previous relationship.
Can you believe you have a 19-year-old?
No, it is weird. I'm 42 years old. I have a 19-year-old.
What if you have another one? Then they'll be 20 years apart.
That's weird. Are you hinting to something?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying.
You hinting to the fact that you'd like to be pregnant again?
Possibilities are endless.
Well, yeah. My youngest would be, if we had another baby in the next year, we would.
20 years.
I would have a 20-year gap between my first child and my whatever my next child would be.
I'm trying to think how old my oldest
That's 20
brother
years.
is. How old is my oldest brother? He's got to be like
46.
No, he's got to be 57.
He's not 50. Not 57. He looks like he's 57,
he's
but he's
got to
not
be.
57.
No, I know
he's late 40s.
I guarantee he's like 40.
He's like 46, 47.
He's got to be like 48, and my
Yeah.
youngest sister is 25. So
And
what's
it's like
that
20-year
span?
gap.
Yeah,
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
But I was telling Parker that last night. I was like, if me and Danielle
Yeah.
have another baby, like you're going to end up being 20 years older or more than your youngest sibling. That's crazy. That's. I mean, he'll be like a 40-year-old man by the time like that child was like 20.
I'm still young though. I can.
You're 35, babe.
I know.
It's not like it. Do you know that I just was like, I was just in a conversation about today with one of our clients, and she has a client.
Sometimes I feel
who's
like
55 and has twins that are 8 years old.
Wow.
That means she had twins when she was 47.
You know what's so funny? And in California, like we have an 11-year-old. Like I feel like because I started so young, I'm like a decade younger than most women. With
You are a
children my
decade younger.
age.
Everybody in Orange County doesn't get married until they're 30.
I know, and then
you got married when you were 19.
Yeah, a lot of my clients and friends
20.
that live here, they're literally just starting to get pregnant, like 33, 34. You know,
Their first babies, and we're like,
I'm like, wow.
already two down.
And I'm already
Off
like,
we go.
man, I just got to the easy part of kids. They're both in school, they're older, but I'm like, but I'm still young, and I might as well just.
Are you saying you want to have another baby?
I don't know. I'm not announcing anything.
Are you saying you want to have another baby? Are you saying you like to practice to have another
I'll
baby
just see
tonight?
where things go in the next few
Are you
months.
ready to practice having a baby tonight?
Let's do it. All right.
That's the end of the
We gotta
show.
go on date night.
We are heading out to the rest of our date night. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Again, if you are wanting more of the video and audio and actual text transcripts to this show, you can head to dateyourwifenow.com. And or check out Danielle's blog at dkwstyling.com. And if you are looking down the path of the Warrior's Way to having it all and your man listening to the show, head on over to warriorbook.com. We have a journey over there for you we'd love to introduce you to. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next week. Have a great rest of your week. We are out.